Last segment, I'm going to show you these what I call freehand leaves, and some of you may have watched my Cake Flicks Artists Around the World where I use this technique for the wisteria leaves. So it's wonderful for things like wisteria. For example, you can use this for jasmine, so when you're doing jasmine, like Confederate jasmine or Chinese jasmine, any of the jasmine varieties. So it's a really useful technique, or just to use purely as a freehand leaf. All right. Now, when we do this, we're going to use, you can use number 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 size ball to paste, and you also put them together in odd combinations like 3, 5, 7 leaves. I'm going to show you here a number 5, which is referenced in your instructions. So we're going to take a number 5 ball of green gum paste, all right? So we're just going to make number 5 balls. So of course you can make 5 or 7 of these. And then we're going to take a wire here. We're going to use a 28 gauge wire. I'm using green wire here, and then we're going to put the going to brush some egg white or some egg white or glue about 20 millimeters or 3/4 of an inch down the wire. Okay, so it's going to take some glue here. So I'm going to put just a little bit of egg white or glue, 20 millimeters or 3/4 of an inch on the end of the wire. Like I showed making the ferns, all right, but here you actually push that through so it comes through the end of the wire like this. So just like I did the ferns, but you want the egg white on here. Just because of the way we do this, you need to make sure the cone is, or carrot shape is supported onto here. And you're going to make this into about a 3/4 inch long, as I said, about 20 millimeter carrot, okay? So it wants to be about 20 millimeters, about 3/4 of an inch in length. It's going to mold around the bottom of this, but the wire pretty much goes all the way to the end. So taking my small foam pad, okay, so we're going to now, so once we've done that, flatten between your thumb and finger. So you're just going to flatten this between your thumb and your finger, like so. All right, and then we're going to place it on the hard green side of the pad. And then we're going to use a large stick or a medium pin. So you're going to use like a large stick or a medium pin. All right, and basically what we're going to do here now is we're going to just sort of roll back and forward to establish this sort of shape, you see? So you're going to get this nice shape. Now, sometimes you might need to use a pair of scissors. Like if it looks a bit like odd, one side, you can always give it a quick little manicure with your scissors, all right? Because you have to try and keep that, because you want to keep that, so you want to get this nice sort of almost like a spearhead shape, all right? And we're going to use the same veinner that we used in the previous segment. So this is the little multi-leaf veinner. So just position that onto the multi-leaf veinner so the wire goes between. Going to turn this over, press this on, take this off, all right? Just pinch that, and again, if you need to trim the end just to make it look symmetrical, you can do. Because when you press it in the veinner, it's going to obviously also, so see, just trim that to give you the nice shape. So you want to just sort of trim that to give you your symmetrical shape of the leaf. And then once you take that out, you're going to then remove and hollow the base of the leaf. So usually all I do is literally just hollow the base of the leaf. So using my little companion tool, just going to hollow the base. And then you can also bend the leaf if you want to bend it to a slight shape. Just pinch it like a taco and just leave that to dry, okay? And just put that on your crepe foam to dry. And then once those have dried, you're literally just going to just tape them. So it's going to just tape this with half-width tape. And then you can put these in configurations. Now, when you do the configurations, you're normally going to take a 22 gauge wire. So you will take a 22 gauge wire, which where you start putting the groups in, you can put the wire in, or further down, depends really on how you're going to use them. And remember, so you always have like what, so you always work in odd numbers. And then you're going to take your pair of tweezers, and then you're going to then bend these in pairs, like so. I'm just going to pop these in like that. And then coloring on this is really exactly the same as I did in the previous segment. So I'm just going to verbally just talk you through that. So you then would then put, so you assemble, and then you're going to then, once you've done that, you're going to then dust moss green down the center, and then around the edge steam, and then brush with leaf glaze or lacquer. So you're just going to use exactly the same, but just one color. So I just used the moss green, but of course this could be apple, it could be foliage, it could be forest green, depending on what you're going to use it for. And that is how you would make the last leaf. But remember, very useful leaf, freehand, just these freehand leaves to use in amongst flowers or actual flowers or foliage to go with, say, wisteria or jasmine family. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, Fabulous Foliage. So see you real soon. Bye-bye.